Um, Perfect. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who showed up today, took time out of your day off or during your work day to come and spend a little bit of time to get educated. And I'm really excited to share all of this with you. This is a lot of new information that you probably haven't seen before. It's our first time putting this out. And it totally blew my mind on how I looked at Lightener, and I'm really excited to teach you guys the same thing. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the Oh My Blonde presentation. And I just ask that everyone hold their questions until after the presentations. I'll do two, then we'll go through and do a little Q&A. And from there we can answer some questions, but if you'll just write it down, and then at the end, we can review everything, and it makes it a little bit easier. Okay. So let's see. Perfect. Okay, can everyone see the presentation?
Yeah, that looks good.
Sweet. Alrighty, let's get started. Okay, so Italy Hair Fashion, we've been around for 35 years. We're an Italian manufacturer that we really put a lot of focus and time and energy into bringing the most innovative products and techniques and technologies to our customer. We want to build something that's made by the artist for the artist. There's so many different things you run into behind the chair every day that we definitely strive to make sure that you feel well equipped with everything. So our strength lies in color, but we do offer a wide range of methods and solutions that protect the hair and scalp while enhancing the natural brilliance of healthy hair. We provide authentic Italian ingredients, style, and a legacy of unparalleled tradition in every aspect of our family of premium brands. And our standards for performance and perfection are expressed through the artistry on a global scale, creating an elegant and sustainable future of beauty in the world. So made in Italy, experienced around the world. Just to go down. There we go. Okay. The Oh My Blonde line. If you can dream it, you can do it. So this is something revolutionary with the Oh My Blonde line. We wanted to take the worry and stress out of blonding. So many clients come in the chair every day. 9 out of 10 times we're almost dealing with a color correction in our chair. So we wanted to make sure that we gave you a lot of opportunities with this. So these are our bleach and toning products featuring the exclusive e-Plex Bond Repair, which is designed to protect and restructure the hair from within, protect and maintain the structural bonds, minimize breakage, and then improve the elasticity, strength, and brightness of the hair. Every time you use this, the hair should actually feel better. And you can experience that. Your clients notice it, you notice it behind the chair, and it makes a little bit of your job less stressful. So Oh My Blonde is a system. It's not just a lightener. It's not just a product that we put on your shelf and in your cabinet and on your station every day, but this is actually an entire system that we want to integrate. So going into e-Plex Bond Repair, here's a few of the main ingredients that we have that really are what you feel the difference and the moisturizing and the luxuriousness of this product that make it stand out so much from everything else. You have cocoa butter, mango butter, olive oil, cottonseed oil, almond oil, avocado oil, and soybean oil. And the big thing about all of these, every single one has a purpose. So it's going to be reviving, reinforcing, as antioxidants, emollients. That's going to add shine and moisture to the hair and condition the scalp as well. Also anti-frizz, which is a huge thing that you can feel that in the finish of the hair even without products. And then anti-aging and anti-inflammatory as well, to really, you'll notice that in the scalp too. So the exclusive e-Plex Bond Repair formula works at every stage of the hair color service. Whether you're decolorizing, we're still repairing that bond. If you're taking your hair care home, it still has that bond. When we're coloring, it still has that bond. Every step of the way, your client is getting a better service. So when we are decolorizing, thanks to e-Plex Bond Repair and the maleic acid, most of the bonds remain intact, which is going to minimize hair breakage. We know this from hair school, that when you apply a chemical, we're doing this on the hair, it's going to break bonds. And naturally, we have to, as a stylist, take our judgment and go, okay, how many bonds can be broken safely and responsibly here at the chair to get you the look that you want. So this is going to help get you further with the hair with less stress and a better hair health effect. And these are going to improve the brightness and resistance of the hair as well, make it stronger, healthier, and again, more elastic. So your client is not only feeling it in the chair and it's helping you, but you're actually leaving with that too. And those clients can feel that through appointment to appointment at home. So for hair care, for an additional level of protection, the e-Plex Bond Repair has been added to the Blonde Sealer, which is an acidifying milk that is going to balance the pH of your skin and hair and stabilize the hair structure. It's going to create a new and stronger capillary bond between the fibers. And as a result of this, the lightened hair becomes healthier and nourished from the inside and ready to receive toners if necessary. Let me go into the Blonde Sealer just a little bit. If you have not used this, stock up on it. I literally cannot keep this in my back bar enough. It makes a massive, massive difference at the bowl. I shampoo my client, the color out of there. I rinse, shampoo my client, then I put the Bond Sealer on before conditioner, and it already feels like it's gotten a deep conditioning treatment. I leave it on for 3 minutes. I brush it into their hair while they're here. They love having their hair combed at the bowl as well. And so many of my clients actually love this smell and wanted to take the product home because it was so pleasant. But it makes a massive difference. You can feel the hair before, and then I apply it, and I have my clients feel the hair after, even just rough towel drying it. And it's a substantial difference. So for color and bond, we have 5 blonde toners from our Oh My Blonde line that are enriched again with the e-Plex Bond Repair. Now that's going to give you maximum color performance and superior protection of the hair fiber as well. So it's going to restore the bonds, nourish the hair, and give you a bright, lasting color. Chromolite technology. This is super, super important. This is going to reduce your color fading and prevent yellowing. When working with our blondes, we know they leave, 6 weeks later, they come back, their hair is so much brassier. They're running for the purple shampoo constantly, or they're overusing purple shampoo, and it leaves just a whole mess of problems here in the salon. So we always, that's not a complaint that you're always going to run into with blondes. So the Chromolite technology is so important because blonde hair has a different structure with a higher porosity due to the lightening substances and processes that we put it through. So that makes the hair structure more vulnerable and a little bit more fragile. So for this reason, pre-lightened hair is more sensitive to like bad shampoos, like cheaper quality products. It's going to do 10 times the amount of damage on pre-lightened hair. And with those already being so fragile, that's something we really want to make sure we don't run into. You want to be one step ahead. And so it's necessary to have that detail in mind with the use of products aimed to keep the shine and color effect over time. Chromolite technology protects the color and counteracts the natural oxidation that does occur after they leave the chair in the salon due to external factors. So that could be free radicals, the sun, the water, mineral deposits, all of those things you run into at home. This basically is like when you get a gel top coat on your nails, this is what we're doing to our hair. It's going to make your life easier and your client's life easier. It does it's just like a big protection. It's like insurance policy on the hair, essentially. And it's going to keep your color longer. Your toners are going to last longer. Your clients are going to love that. And then protect the hair again from like free radicals, sunlight pollution, etc. So for our professional product line, we'll start off with Iconic Blonde. This is one of the most popular lighteners I see everyone grabbing for in our bags, and it is the blue lightener if you open it up and look inside. This is the Extra Performance Decolorizer. So this is enriched again with the e-Plex Bond Repair, and it's going to eliminate yellow residue when lightening the hair. So this is really ideal for lightening techniques using foil or thermal strips to achieve higher lightening results of up to 9 shades. This is going to give you your super, super big impact when lifting. It's going to do the heavy work for you. And this is a compact microgranular decolorizing powder. It does not swell, and it is super easy to mix and apply. The mixing ratio for this lightener is 1 part of lightener to 2 parts of your developer, whether you're using 10, 20, 30, 40. You are going to apply it on dry hair and then leave for 20 to 40 minutes. We'll get into processing times a little bit later as well. But do not place under a heat source. All of our lighteners I'm going to go over today, we stress super importantly that you do not put it under a heat source. Our products are not designed for that, and I'll explain to you a little bit more why. So then after using, you can rinse, apply your blonde sealer, and then wash with Oh My Blonde shampoo for the full effect. Going on to ITELY Blonde, this is our ammonia-free decolorizer. So this is a more delicate lightener. It's ideal for natural or pre-dyed hair, and it again has your e-plex bond repair. It is a compact granular decolorizing powder, which is going to lighten between 6 to 7 shades. Again, no swelling, which is a good peace of mind for us as stylists, and easy to mix and apply with that 1:2 ratio, same as Iconic. We have our Clay Blonde Lightener. This is our free hand technique decolorizer. I think I probably use this the most, more than Iconic, more than a cream lightener. This is what I use in my chair every single day on almost every single client that gets a lightening service with me. This is a ultra compact decolorizing powder with the e-plex bond repair, and it's going to be ideal for more of your freehand lightening techniques such as your balayage, ombres, foliage, splash lights. All of that is going to be where you go and grab your Clay Blonde. So this has a special formula that once it is mixed with oxygen, it takes on a clay effect, meaning it can be used without foil. When you're at home and you do a clay face mask, we notice that the color starts to dry, and as it dries, the color changes on top. It starts to get this like powdery shell, but we know it's still doing something for our skin. This is the same technology that is found in the clay lightener. Same idea. It is going to create its own cast and shell on top of it, and on the inside, it's still working with that hair. It's still moist, it's still lightening, but it does make it makes great for when you're doing something freehand. You want to be a little bit faster. You're not using foils. You don't need to separate as much. It doesn't bleed, which is why I love this as well, and zero swelling. The mixing ratio for our Clay Blonde is 1 part Clay Blonde lightener to 1.5 parts of hydrogen peroxide developers. So again, no heat with this. You can, if you're really worried about it, you can separate with saran wrap or, but I don't go for a foil. I go for something very delicate or a mesh. And Clay Blonde is going to allow for lightening of up to 6 levels. So this is perfect for use on natural or dyed hair as well. And it's going to give you more of a sun-kissed effect. The Silky Blonde, this is our cream-based lightener. It's a cosmetic decolorizing cream that's ideal for more stressed hair, more fragile hair. It's been heavily processed, and it's enriched with, again, your e-plex bond repair. One thing, when you have this behind the chair, when you take this out of the cabinet, before you unscrew it to go and mix it, almost massage the bottle a little bit, squeeze it around, and that's going to really make sure that the oil is fully mixed before you open it, and then you lose some of that precious e-plex bond repair because it is so heavily packed in there. And this is a delicate formula that's going to provide gentle, safe, and reliable hair lightening of up to 6 levels. So it's still going to give you a good amount of lift. This is going to do a lot of heavy lifting as well, but it's creamy, it's really compact, and also doesn't swell. I love finding a cream lightener that I don't have to worry about with swelling. And it's also going to give good adhesion. So when I'm foiling someone with quite shorter hair, I typically tend to go with the Silky Blonde, or if they have fine hair, I tend to grab the Silky Blonde if I don't need 9 levels of lift. Because of its texture, it's going to really stick it to the foil, and you're gonna have high adhesion. The mixing ratio for this is 1 part lightener to 2 parts of your developer again. Also, no heat source. We're not applying any of our lighteners under heat. Sunlight oil. Okay, so this is a soft lightening oil. I know before class I had someone mention to me, what is sunlight oil? I'm terrified of it. I don't know what to do with this liquid. It's okay. It's actually one of my favorite things to grab as well. So this is an ammonia-free lightening oil. It's going to be really gentle to the hair. It has that e-plex bond repair. And this is meant to really lighten up to 2 to 3 tones for a very, very natural result. So because it's only lightening 2 to 3 tones, I like to use it on my people who are already blonde and they want that like beachy surfer sun bleached effect, I grab this. It's going to get them that natural, super smooth lightening effect without being too powerful on the hair. And because it is also really hydrating as well, because it's an oil. The mixing ratio for this is 1 part sunlight oil to 2 parts of developer. It is quite liquidy. So I like to use it without a foil. You can use it with a foil as well if you want. I don't really find the need for a foil, which is quite nice. You can also use this on the base if you like to sweeten the base, or what we call a base break. A lot of stylists grab this as well, just to gently mesh that line of natural, your natural level when you've done a full foil on a client. This is great for that. Our blonde sealer, we went over it a little bit already, but this is a pH rebalancing milk. So this is the conditioning treatment that's going to help restore the pH of the scalp and hair after chemical services back to its natural state. And it's good to use after all bleaching services, but also all color services in general. You can use it after every color service, not just lightening. I actually use it a lot as well on clients that have eczema and psoriasis. If I see that their scalp has a little bit of a flare up, I always grab this at the back bowl before conditioner, and it's really, really soothing to the scalp. It makes a massive, massive difference. And my clients even notice that for a week after when they leave. So after rinsing the lightener from the hair with warm water, go ahead and tone, rinse your toner, and then apply your blonde sealer and leave it for 3 to 5 minutes. That's my time when I go through, I detangle the hair. It makes removing your teased sections easy, so easy to detangle my teas with this, which is a relief. And it's also going to stabilize the color pigments, which will give you that longer lasting vibrancy in your color results. Okay, the blonde toner. These are ammonia-free toners. We have 5 tones which can be mixed together, or you can use them alone. Ideal for neutralizing unwanted highlights or unwanted tones, and it's going to create pastel effects. So enriched with the e-plex bond repair, it offers a unique range of completely customizable colors based on the customer's preference and hair type. There are 5 super easy to use tones. You have diamond, sand, caramel, denim, and rose gold. The mixing ratio for this is going to be 1 part toner, 2 parts developer. You can apply it to wet hair, damp preferably, depending on how much you want to make that toner translucent, and dry hair as well. So leave on from 10 to 20 minutes with no heat. Just keep an eye on it and then rinse off, check visually and rinse when you feel like you've gotten the desired result. Especially with the denim and the rose gold, a rule of thumb I like to say is take a section of hair, scrape off the color, or wipe a bit off with a towel when you're checking. It can look more pink to the eye or more blue to the eye than it really is. So that's just a good, always do your scrape test before rinsing so you don't rinse and have to tone twice. And then also the tone fades gradually when washed, which is quite nice and does not break the base. We have our activator. This is an oxidizing emulsion. This is your 5 volume. So when we were talking about also how we've now taken the Jelly Tone activator off the market, this is the replacement. The 5 volume activator is going to be what you grab, and it's going to give you the exact same payoff result. So this is your stabilized hydrogen peroxide, specifically formulated to guarantee maximum performance when using your blonde toner shades together with the pH modulator. It's going to allow for better control when you're lifting your natural melanin. It gives you more control when you're toning at the bowl as well. So the e-plex bond repair, a complex of precious vegetable oils and butters, is going to improve the brightness and resistance of the hair, making it stronger and healthier and shinier. The mixing ratio of this is 1 to 2 together with pH modulator. This is our pH modulator. It's a dye neutralizer. So a pH modulator that inhibits the lightening of natural melanin and naturalizes the effect of oxidation dyes. You apply a few drops of this into your color, and it's all that it takes to mitigate the alkalinity of the toning cream, preventing the lightening of natural hair. If you're worried about breaking the base, this is when you grab this tool. It also has your e-plex bond repair as well for your hydration. And it comes with a little syringe in the box. So you can easily measure out 2 milliliters of your modulator to every 10 milliliters of your blonde toners. So you can add activator 5 volume with a mixing ratio of 1:2. So 60 milliliters of blonde toner, 120 milliliters of activator. And then apply the mixture on damp or dry hair according to the type of service and goal you're going for. The retail line. So we know as stylists that not only is it important for us to have the correct and proper tools to succeed, but we have to send our clients home. It's our responsibility to educate them on their home care and give them the right things so they can get that same look and experience and feel and care for their hair at home as well. The blonde shampoo. So this is a pearl shampoo that delicately is going to hydrate and cleanse bleached and treated hair, leaving it soft and silky. The formula has chromolite technology that we already talked about earlier, which is going to give you longer lasting color and protection of the hair against natural oxidizing processes. It has your e-plex bond repair, so every time they wash, every time they condition, they're also getting a protein and moisturizing treatment as well for the hair, caring for its fragileness. And it's going to make it ideal for dry hair or for people who wash their hair a lot. I really also like this for clients that are just daily washers, even if they aren't color treated. This is great because of how hydrating the e-plex bond repair is. And you can also use this on all color treated hair. It is going to protect color treated hair as well, not just light end hair. Our blonde conditioner, same thing. This is going to be the conditioner that matches up with that. It's super, super hydrating and it's really easy to rinse, which a lot of my clients like. It doesn't weigh your hair down, but it does have a heavy impact. I feel like it gives a hydration punch without making my hair feel flat afterwards. I still get the same volume, which is a big deal to me and a lot of Florida people as well. But it's going to improve the hair's shine and resistance, again, making it stronger and healthier, and is ultra moisturizing. We have our Cool Blonde Spray. This is your leave-in hair color spray with an anti-yellowing effect. I have a lot of clients that I like to say are blonde anorexic. They just swear that they always see yellow in their hair. Their hair could literally be see-through white. They're still gonna see yellow in their hair. I send them home with this product and it solves my problems. It's gentle and it's really translucent, but you apply this after shampooing when your hair is wet, along with your other leave-in products. And it's got just a sheer amount of violet tones to it that is really going to help cleanse the yellow from the hair and just give it an overall nice and fresh shine. And I also like to do this too when some clients are over purple shampooing. I tell them to take that down a notch and try this as well. And that fixes the problem, but also prevents their hair from getting stained because this product does not stain at all. Perfect. Okay, so that is our first presentation. We're gonna go through, and let me get this second. Queued up. Okay. Okay, can everyone see the presentation now?
Looks good.
Perfect. Alrighty. So this is going to be probably a little bit mind-blowing, probably raise a little bit of hands and questions, and that's okay. So again, just if you want to write down all of your questions, we'll go through it at the end. But when this information was told to me, I don't think anyone had ever properly explained really how and why Lightener works in this sense. So this is going to break down the approach to lightening in cosmetology. So how is it working? The processing action, that's all about timing, breaking down the process by each amount of time as well, and lightening versus decolorizing. So natural lightening versus cosmetic decoloration. Here's the big difference. Natural lightening is the term that we use when we're referring to the method of using lightener to lift the level of natural or virgin hair. Your cosmetic decolorizing is the term that we go to when you're using lightener to remove artificial color from a prior service from the hair. So one is virgin hair and one is pre-treated and pre-colored hair. That is our big difference. You have to consider some things for each method. For natural lightening, when you're lifting, the purpose of natural lightening is you have to consider the natural color contribution at the level you aim to achieve. In our swatch books, we have that tool that goes on our natural level scale that also shows our natural lightening and natural color contribution undertones. So, you know, when we lift, we go through yellow, orange, red. When we're going through all of those phases, that's something that you have to take into account naturally when you're formulating or when you're lightening. You need to know when you're toning what to expect and at what level. When doing a cosmetic decoloration, when you're removing your pre-existing artificial color from the hair, you have to add one level into your lifting consideration. If you think you're going from a level 4 to a 7, on virgin hair, you're going 3 levels. When you're doing cosmetic decolorizing, that's now 4 levels because you have that extra layer in the hair that is those pigments from artificial color. So it's going to really require one extra level of lift when breaking up artificial color molecules. A lot of times we think, oh, we're gonna get 3 levels of lift, but we forget that we've been doing color on this client already. And then really we're like, man, we did everything right. I did exactly 3 levels of lift. I followed the chart, but you feel like you're just falling short a little bit. It's because you actually have to add a level. So this chart shows it as well, exactly what I was talking about, the breakdown here. If you look, on the left is your natural lightening, on the right is your cosmetic decolorizing. And if we look on the left, if we are currently at a level 4 and going to a level 9, then we know that we have where we're going to is going to be yellow natural color contribution. We need to lift 5 levels from a 4 to a 9. And then if we are doing this though on hair that has been pre-colored, and we're starting at a level 4 and going to a level 9, you actually really need to lift 6 levels. If you can look here, it shows that it kind of drops you down. So you're going to have more undertones, more color contribution there, more you have to break down and work through because you have that extra layer of color. So how does the lightener actually work? Processing action is all about timing. This is what blew my mind, and I'm so excited to show this. So when we start and apply, from the time the lightener is applied to the hair, it goes on this, okay, we're going up, we're lifting, we're working. 30 minutes is actually our peak. That is totally our peak for processing power. After that, it drops down and plateaus. And it works on this very low, slow level all the way to 50 minutes. So if we're doing this non-destructive, we're keeping the hair's health in mind, we're doing this by the book as much as we can. If we have, again, same thing, our current level 4 going to the level 9, on virgin hair, for step 1, we would do our iconic blonde and 30 volume for 30 minutes. Because again, like I said, 30 minutes is our peak processing power. After 30 minutes, you're losing all that and you're wasting your time behind the chair. And time is money for us. But also, why leave that product on longer if it's not going to work for you the same? So we're going to get 3 levels of lift in that first 30 minutes with that first go around. Then I take my color, I wipe it off. I take a towel or a clean color brush, wipe that excess lightener off the hair, clean the hair there, and then I go in for a second round, again with Iconic Blonde, but I'm going to drop the level and go down to 20 volume. And I'm going to leave that on for 30 minutes because I only need 2 more levels of lift. So now I've gotten, between my first round and my second round, I've gotten my 5 levels of lift. So now I have safely attained my goal from steps 1 and 2. If we're doing that on pre-colored hair, we have to add a step because again, it's not just 5 levels. Now we're really going for 6 levels. So we're going to start off with the Iconic Blonde and 30 volume for 30 minutes, reach our peak processing time, wipe it off with a towel. That gave you your 3 levels of lift because you used 30 volume for 30 minutes. 30 volume, 3 levels of lift, 20 volume, 2 levels of lift, 10 volume, 1 level of lift. We did step 1, we wipe it off with a towel. Now we're going to reapply, same mixture, Iconic Blonde with 20 volume for 30 minutes. We're going to reach our peak of processing, wipe it off with a towel. You've gotten 2 more levels of lift. So now we're at 5 levels. And again, normally on virgin hair, 5 levels of lift sounds great, but we have more color molecules to work through. So we've got to do it again. We're not quite there. We've almost made it, but you're just 1 level short. So you go through the last time with Iconic Blonde and your 10 volume lightener for 30 minutes, and that's going to safely give you 1 level of lift. The way we do it this way, working from top to bottom, 30 volume, 20 volume, 10 volume, is important to look at, because a lot of times you see people go and grab 40 volume and it blows the cuticle out of proportion. They've left it on for 3 hours. So they've reached that plateau, it's fallen, and they're just letting it sit, and it's just tearing it up from the inside out after that. So really, this is the smart and most safe and stable way to go through when assessing something like this. So working on a molecular level, so breaking this down, this lifting process, we can see on the far left here at where it says 3 minutes. So we've just applied our lightener in the hair. We see that we have these giant color molecules. This is the pigment inside of your hair, and this is the natural melanin. So when we want to lighten the hair, we have to break it up. So from 15 minutes, it's now broken up some, and then at 30 minutes, it's really broken up. And that's when you see that lift, is you're breaking those pigments up and you're kind of popping each little bubble to be smaller. So cosmetic decolorizing is achieved by, you have to re-oxidize, break up the existing synthetic color molecules to decolorize, to then start this process. So this from left to right shows natural lightening, but if we're doing cosmetic decolorizing, these pigments on the far left are even bigger. That's something to think about. They're even bigger. They have more on them. They have layers on top of that you have to break up to then get to the natural, to then break down the natural. There's an extra step in this, and a lot of times behind the chair, we forget that. Again, this shows as well. So the free oxygen separates the pigment molecules and dissolves them through process 1 when we did 30 volume at 30 minutes. Then during the second application, the lightener progressively is going to dissolve the pigments. It's going to allow more and more light into the shaft. It's starting to break it down. The hair is looking lighter. This is when you're going to do process 2 for the next 30 minutes at 20 volume for 30 minutes. And then for the last process, you're going to do 10 for 30 minutes because you only have 1 more level of lift. You don't want to go out for a higher volume and push that too far and risk breaking that hair. So the alkaline pH causes oxygen to react, which produces the removal of the pigments. Okay, so let's see. Alrighty, before we get into our demo, that was a lot of information to lay on you guys. So if anyone has any questions, I think we can probably go through a few questions now, and from there, we can go into our hands-on demo.
I have a question. Would you mind just briefly going over the pH modular again, how you use that?
Yes, absolutely. So the pH modulator is going to be what you add in to your toner if you're worried about breaking the base. If you're worried about shifting your natural lifting the natural level at all, you would add in your pH modulator via the directions and the ratio that it comes with onto your toner and mix it into that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, Lisa, it looks like you have your hand raised.
Yeah, quick question about, oh boy, let me go back through my notes. The clay blonde lightener, you said it doesn't bleed, right?
Correct. I do feel like because of the clay action where it creates that like powderized dry shell on the outside, I don't personally run into any instances if I'm laying one section of hair on top of the other I don't, and unless it's overly saturated or I put it down fresh, I don't have any issues of transferring. Once it dries that nice protective shell.
So how long does it usually take to dry? So if you're working, like, I don't know about in other areas of the country, but in South Florida, you have a lot of artificial blondes who come from Latin American backgrounds, which means that the hair only will ever pull up coppers and reds and oranges. So you got to tone the crap out of it to get it to any normal looking blonde. So it's not, but then working on natural blondes, which I only have a few, it's a completely different experience. It actually does what it's supposed to do. And you almost have to like cut the time in half. So I guess what I'm worried about is doing that on someone who has hair that's going to bring up a lot of copper and having it, I don't know. I would be interested in trying what you're saying, but that also worries me a little about any of it bleeding at all. Are the
So
people you're working on usually, like, which category do they fit into that you're finding it works this well?
almost, I use it on all types. I have a really diverse clientele, but personally I'm in Florida as well. So a lot of my clients do have really coarse hair. It's going to pull really, really warm. Now, I know that taking that into account, I've had during my consultation a chat with my clients about when doing a balayage, we're going for something more natural. If you want platinum blonde hair, this may not be the method for you. That's kind of up to us to decide that for the client and in particular, depending on what they're going for. But I also try to encourage them and remind them too that it's safer for the hair for us to take you those few levels and to do multiple sessions, more than one session. So I do absolutely, I've used it on level 1 hair even. Yes, it does pull that natural warmth because you have your natural underlying pigment and natural contribution. But I just tone accordingly. If they want something a little bit ashier, I meet them realistically. I'm like, okay, here's some swatches, here's things to expect. And then do you prefer something a little warmer or a little cooler in tone? And if I know I'm at a level 7, I know not to grab a level 8 toner. I grab a little darker and go a little cooler if I'm trying to cancel that out. And then, you know, if I need to cancel red, I'll grab something with more green. If I need to cancel yellow, I'll grab something with more violet, that sort of thing. But I absolutely use it all the time on my darker clients and they love it. I mean, it gives such a fantastic, like seamless hand painted result. I can get my placement as particular as I want because it is such a it's a thicker consistency. And also during when I do a demo in just a minute, I'll be using the clay blonde lightener, so that should help as well.
Yes, hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi. I
Hi.
have a question. When I was just talking about the silky blonde, I was just trying to figure out what is the safest for chemically treated hair? Because I deal with a lot of chemically treated hair. And I was thinking that silky blonde would be something you would recommend for this for relaxed hair.
So it's tough with relaxed hair because it is already so fragile and doesn't react the best to lighteners. So obviously I would recommend pulling your client into doing a strand test. The silky blonde would be with maybe 10 volume on a strand test. I would try that and see how it helps. But also, have you thought about maybe doing like a high lift color strand test as well, more than a lightener, and seeing how that reacts to relaxed hair? I would maybe suggest to give that a go as well.
Yeah, I see that, but a lot of times what's happening is a lot of relaxed customers have used a lot of semi, and it's a lot, have to do a lot of decolorizing because I prefer just the permanent color. It works if the hair is relaxed and virgin. That works best for me. Or if I have to do it, and if I have to lighten it up some, I will lighten it to maybe like a level 5 and do permanent color the rest of the way, and that has worked for me. But you should have a lot of hair that's stained and needs to be decolorized. That's my issue.
Yeah, I would do it. I would recommend doing a small strand test. Obviously, each client's going to be a little different. And just keep an eye on it, checking it every 15 minutes with a low volume developer to see how that works for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So with the toners, so do we use the 10 volume anymore? Or is that just if we need to shift the base a little bit? We're not using that anymore with your Oh My Blonde toners? And you shampoo the toners out? You just rinse?
So you can absolutely use the 10 volume. It's not just the five volume as well. 5 volume is when you would want to make sure you're not shifting the natural base. If you want a little bit of extra kick with your toner and a little bit more longevity, go for a 10 volume. I do both in the salon. I think it also depends on the client's hair condition and integrity that you're working with as well. And I apply it onto damp hair and then I shampoo out. Absolutely. Personally, if I'm working in the salon every day, I rinse my lightener. I do a light shampoo to get any lightener residue out of the hair. I tone and then I shampoo my toner out and then condition and blonde sealer as well. If
Okay.
that helps. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to leave any residue in the hair because it's hard when you're rinsing. I mean, you're going to be rinsing for 10-15 minutes to make sure you don't get anything left on the scalp when you go back to the chair. So it's always good to shampoo out. Yes.
Right.
Okay. Perfect.
I have a question, Brooke.
Yes.
Hi again. From
Hello.
yesterday. But also, you said if you're doing a foil, you're saying after 30 minutes you take every foil out, dry that bleach off, and then reapply.
So it depends on where you're trying to go. Obviously, for bigger color corrections, I go one foil at a time and I stick a balayage board under to make it a little bit easier. But if I know I'm going, a huge amount of levels, that is the textbook safest way to do it. Yes. Now, if you choose to do it differently and it works for you in your salon, great. But that's really where your peak is. And then that's where you notice the major lifting power lies and it falls after 30 minutes. Yeah.
I was just thinking that would be a very labor intensive way. So you'd really have to adjust your price structure for that.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, that is the thing as well, is that this is when we're doing so much work and when we're doing so much science and keeping the client in mind, we do have to charge our worth as stylists. And that's a hard thing sometimes to try to get your clients on the same page with. But explaining to them why you have to approach the process the way you do in a consultation before starting the service informs them on how much you respect their hair. So when they see how much how much study and time and labor and care you're really considering for their hair, they're going to pay that price. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't have a lot of texture clients. 95% of the time, 20 to 30 minutes gives me the lift that I require. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I absolutely get the lift I need in 30 minutes. So if you don't need it after that, perfect. But for when you're approaching a larger color correction or something of this sort where you're having more trouble, this is a great plan of approach.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else before we start our hands-on?
Yes, back to the pH modulator. If you're using the Oh My Blonde toners, you don't have to put that in it to keep the base from lifting, correct?
I don't feel like I need to use it. Often I don't notice a huge lift in my natural base on my clients if I'm using 5 volume activator with the Oh My Blonde toners. It's just in cases where you really are worried about it, this client just anything will break her base. That's when I go for it.
And if you're using the other color line for a toner, you would definitely use it in that to protect the base.
Right.
I personally keep the pH modulator just specifically with the Oh My Blonde line. I don't typically interchange the two of them.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So would you say, it's just another question, I'm sorry. So would you say the pH modulator, I have this in my salon, I just never used it. I don't know how to use it. I was very scared. But so somebody who has a darker base, I would be best to use when I'm doing highlights in it and I want to tone, I would be best to use it in situations like that. But my blonde clients where I want to shift it, then I would use my 10 volume as, not 10 volume, sorry. I would not use the pH modulator because I don't mind if it shifts a little bit with the toner. Would
Right.
that be?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Well, how you explained it is perfect. And also you could use your 10 volume with the Oh My Blonde toners as well. But again,
Okay.
as long as you know what you're getting into with shifting the natural base, using that to your advantage would be great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty, I think we're ready then. I think we're ready to get into the techniques. I'm so excited. Oh, yes. Did you have a question? Okay, alrighty. I'm gonna go ahead. If everyone wouldn't mind just muting themselves again, I'll go ahead and we'll.
Okay, you're back. Sorry about that, Brooke. I muted you with everybody else.
Oh, good. Alrighty. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and then transition now into our techniques. I'm gonna go over this presentation a little bit, go over some of the slides, and really show you our graphics for it visually, and then I'll also show my mannequin head as well. So the one I'm going to focus on today, the technique I'm going to focus on, this is my mannequin head that I did this technique on. You can see I used clay blonde and I used 40 volume because it is a mannequin head. I don't normally grab 40 volume in the salon, but for mannequin hair where it can be quite resistant. And it really gave me this natural like ribbon lightening effect. So this is something I use all the time in the salon. It's actually my new favorite go-to for balayages. So I'm going to share my screen now. Perfect. All right. Hopefully everyone can see this. Okay, so this is our technique series. Again, this is my mannequin that I used this technique on. And she just has like a really natural, subtle, like balayage ribbon lightened effect, but it's totally seamlessly blended. There's no parts of this. I mean, this is completely foolproof. You could use this on any client with any lightener product that you prefer and go for this. I'm just a big clay blonde fan. So our sectioning for this, what I'm going to have everyone do with their client would be you would section the head into 4 sections and 4 quadrants. And I want you to take almost like a kite section on top, if you can see this. Comes down to a point in the front of the head and then a little bit wider with a point in the back of the head. Just like this. 4 sections. And then on top I have this and I put it up in a little bun so it stays out of my way. So we would divide just as illustrated and put your little kite section out of the way. When we do this, we're going to start taking horizontal sections. I start in the back with all of my clients. I will say that I believe it typically takes me 25 to 30 minutes to apply this whole head technique, which is fantastic because time is everything. With time is money, especially when you're booking clients, being organized, but also it's important to be on top of timing when using lightener. So you're getting a consistent result from the back to the front of the head. And I always start in the back because the front of the head has a lot more of fragile hair. So we're taking horizontal sectionings and diagonal partings in each way, mirroring the image on each side of the head the whole way through. And this is what it will look like in the back of your head. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my color mixed up and we will do this on this mannequin head I pre-sectioned out. When I'm mixing my clay blonde lightener, I'm mixing a 1 to 1.5 ratio.
Brooke, can you stop your screen share so we can see what you're doing a little better?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. All right, so let me move this in the frame. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mix this. So for example, I'm doing 1 ounce of my clay blonde lightener powder, and I'm going to do 1.5 ounces of my developer to match. A little over there. Okay. I always weigh everything out and mix with a whisk. One thing that's really important when you are mixing lighteners, do not whip it up as fast as you can. I know sometimes you may be behind and in a rush, but if you whip this really fast when you're mixing, you're going to whip in a ton of air into your product and you're actually going to reduce the power of it. So I'm just taking my time mixing this slow to the consistency I want. And let me add in. Okay, so you can see now my lightening cream. It's really thick. It's like not falling off the whisk here. This is the consistency you're going for. For the sake of you guys being able to see this, I'm going to add some color into it to make it a little bit brighter and easier to see on camera. But behind the chair, your lightener would be white. Okay. Alrighty, I've already taken my sectioning here with my mannequin. If anyone can't see this, let me know. Here's the back of the head. I'm gonna start on the left side. I'm going to take my section about 1.5 inches to 2 inches up. All the way horizontally and clip this up. And I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side as well. Twisting these out of my way. So you can see I have my 2 sections divided down the center. I am going to take a diagonal downwards section here, splitting the hair like so. Put this in a clip and put some gloves on. Perfect, okay. And when I'm doing freehand lightening, I always like to keep a towel close by me to wipe my hands off in between sectioning. Because this is a freehand painting, you don't want to leave lightener on your gloves. You want to work really, really clean. Clean sections is clean results. Another thing too is I'm going to comb this section out, pull it straight out here. And when I pull it straight out, I'm going to take my comb, start at the top, slide down right before my hands and slide right back up. 1 tease. A lot of times I see people teasing and teasing and teasing and teasing and teasing, and they make a mess that not only is really hard to get out at the bowl, but you've defeated the point of diffusing the line. You've lost that inner webbing and now almost created a solid line. We tease to diffuse a line. So just 1 tease, I can kind of go back in there and wiggle it up a little bit to make it more secure if I need. You're going to hold the hair straight out. So instead of holding it down or up, you want to hold it straight out. And I try to hold my brush as parallel to the hair as possible, starting midway down the hair and then slowly painting up. Now I'm going to grab my balayage board. Just give me a little bit of assistance here. Prop my balayage board right there against the head. And the balayage board too, the tension on this, being able to push into that board when you're coloring the ends is also going to give you a little bit higher saturation on the ends. And then just pulling down and letting it drop. You can see it kind of separates itself from the head on its own naturally due to that little bit of tease at the top. And if you can see here too, not only have I applied it so it's heavier, but you cannot see through this. I don't want to be able to see through the clay blonde lightener when I'm applying this because you're not getting it fully saturated. Just applying the top, and then I also follow this inwards V slightly when I'm feathering the top, just to give you more blend as well. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And just mirror the image, take my diagonal parting, slide down and right back up. Secure my T's as I need to. Keep the hair really taut. So if I'm tapping my brush on top, it's not dropping. You want to keep it really still. And hold a good amount of tension as well. Starting midway up the hair and then feathering up. The more parallel you keep the hair, the easier it is to keep this blended. We're going to keep the hair, apply my balayage board underneath, come back in, re-dip my brush. Fully saturate those ends. And then just ever so gently let it fall. And I do wipe my board off in between each section as well, so that way I'm not accidentally painting the underside of the hair. So this is what this looks like so far. So now I'm going to take another section, same size as the one before, moving up the hair. About 1.5 inches up. Flipping this out of my way. And then the same thing on this side as well. So everything is working evenly. Combing this out. Now when I take my diagonal, I came in and went this way. Now I want to work the opposite diagonal moving up. You're going to alternate. And you also, what I like to do too is I actually got the presentation chart of my sectioning laminated. So when I'm using this here in the salon on a day-to-day basis, I can go in with my expo marker and fill out exactly where I should be lightening and where I'm putting what. It's really helpful when you're working behind the chair because a lot of times we get caught in conversation. So it's a good way to keep you on track. So now I've taken an opposite diagonal parting going the other way. Holding the hair straight out, I'm going to slide down and back up just once for my T's. Move this a little bit here. And then going through and hand painting this the whole way, starting midway and just feathering up a bit here. Popping my balayage board underneath. And then going and finishing the rest of the ends, making sure that they're super saturated, using a little bit heavier pressure on the ends to get a higher saturation and better lift there. And then this is what it looks like on my board and just letting it slowly drop down. So now when someone asked about, I said there's no bleeding and I don't have to worry about separation. This is really what I'm talking about here, because you can see naturally these, I can stick my comb all the way through here and have wiggle room in between every single section. And I'm not worried about it making a mess. Like this is totally keeping it separate without me having to do any work. I don't need foils or anything. Doing the same thing on the other side. pulling out and just making sure that every V you take is as equal as the one before. So you're really giving the optimal result. Painting my top end, applying my balayage board under, and then painting the ends. You would repeat that all the way up to the top of the head and the back. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what the front sectioning would be like. Let me get these back ones out of my way. After you complete the front, you're going to move to the sides. So let's see. I can get this adjusted a little bit. Okay. Move her out of the way some. So on the side, we have a lot of clients that come in often and they're asking for money pieces and bright pops around the face and things of that nature. Depending on how bright they want to be around their face determines how big of a kite section I'm taking up top. This net hair that is up top in my bun here, I'm leaving alone and I'm not coloring. It's providing almost a natural halo and veil laying on top of the rest of your hair along the part line to give you that seamless blend. So if your client is a side parter, you're going to take the kite shape based off of their side part and just shift it a little bit, but you're going to keep your back quadrants the same, if that makes sense. So here in the front, I would take my sectioning the same way, working horizontally, go up about 1.5 inches, flip the rest out of the way, and taking a diagonal section first. So you can see you have our diagonal section here. Then I'm going to comb this out, pull out, tease up once, and you can see just once, because look how easy that is to undo at the bowl. That's it. I'm not standing there detangling for hours and making a mess. It's super easy to put it in. It's super easy to take it out. So I'm gonna put one tease in here, wiggle it up a bit with my comb to make sure it's secure. And I'm gonna paint this the same way as the back. I am going to feather it just slightly higher up around the front, depending on the look your client is trying to get, whether they want more dramatic or less dramatic, determines how much I feather up to the front. So I typically go for a little bit more dramatic. I went and painted up about this high, made sure it was really nice and blended. I'm gonna stick my balayage board underneath. You can see I'm just pulling the hair straight out. Making sure everything's feathered, pulling up to the front of the face, letting it drop. And I'll show you this from the side as well. So you can see here, if I have my section, it almost has this, it's following this diagonal curve to be higher at the front and lower at the back. That's gonna ensure maximum blend and dimension here, but it still give you that nice bright pop around the front that everyone likes to see. You'd follow that same pattern around the whole side of the head. And then after this, you would take back to the chair after processing. I always tell my clients that I'm like, okay, it's okay if it dries off and it will powder off. I'm like, that means it's working and it's done. When it's determined it's done working, it's powdering off. No big deal. It sweeps right up. There is no mess to this. Take them back to the chair, rinse, tone with my desired result or my desired shade that I've determined based off what I need to cancel. I apply blonde sealer to it and then shampoo and condition. But this technique is so great. I use it all the time on all my clients. The placement is beautiful. The kite sectioning up top gives you that insurance of making sure that everything is blended when they wear their hair up or down. And I think it's really universal and translates quite well in the salon too. Does anyone have any questions on the technique really quickly?
I do have a question.
Yes.
Can you at some point go back to maybe that first picture where you did show, like you said, it depends on just the very top, how you would part it
Yes.
when you're applying it.
Let's see. We're also going to send out that chart as well, and make it available for everyone, so you can have that. You can print it out at home, laminate it, all of that as well. But yeah, I can show you the parting on top.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, she is really on there. Okay, so showing from the top, if she's a middle parter, then I'm going to take that kite sectioning along the middle. The only difference if you're a side parter is this is going to migrate to the right or to the left based off of where they part.
Okay.
But you're going to keep your quadrants for the side and the back the same, just as like you would take it from the high point of the head to behind the ear and then straight back down the center. Perfect. And I think John just maybe added a link for that presentation as well in the chat.
I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
When you get to the very top where you would want to put like a money piece or the really, are you just going to do the same technique where you tease once and then just kind of feather it up higher in that spot?
Yes. So around the face versus the sides versus the back. I took this almost all the way up to the face here, up to my tees completely. Now, if I want it more dramatic, you could skip the tees and take it really, really, really up to the scalp if you wanted a little bit more dramatic and heavier as well. And if in that case, you can paint the underside of the hair, go in a little bit heavier. That's totally up to you. Or you could also mix a batch with a higher developer just for those money pieces if you wanted to as well.
All right, thank you.
Of course. Great. Okay.
Brooke, I did want to mention real quick. I'm gonna switch over here and I'm gonna share my screen very quickly. If you hop over to ohmyblonde.com, I have it highlighted right here, right under the video. It says download master bleach techniques. So everything that Brooke showed you today, you can download right there. And there's actually a bonus technique in there too, that you can refer to and just kind of familiarize yourself with. But I wanted to show everybody, if you look in the chat link, there's a direct link to it, but everything's available here at ohmyblonde.com. And that's all I got.
Perfect. And then we do have another class on the 25th as well. It's another master bleach, but we'll actually be going over a different technique and adding a little bit of different content into that as well. So I really recommend signing up for that class too. That will be the technique 2 that you see in the presentation. We'll actually explain it and go over it in person during that class here on Zoom on the 25th. All right, I think we have a special offer for you guys as well. Just as a way for us to show appreciation for everyone taking time out of their day to come and learn with us, we have a special offer we wanted to show you guys. Get this loaded. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, so these are our special offers as a thank you for attending our class today. Today only, Oh My Blonde, any Oh My Blonde lightener and bleach, you will get 25% off and a free developer with it. So anyone you order, if you order, you will get a free developer with every single one, and you'll also save 25%. We also have a $199 deal here. You'll get everything shown in this. You'll get one of each toner. You'll get a pH modulator, a liter of shampoo, a liter of conditioner, all of the developers, a swatch chart as well. And
because it's a colored class, and we're supposed to have.
And so this will be everything that's shown in the picture and on the list here is available for $199. Ordering today as a special deal for you guys, so you can try out the entire line at a discounted rate as a thank you from us. So you can either order directly, call our 1-800 number, or call your local distributor or sales rep. They've all been made aware of this deal, and so they're ready for you guys to take orders. And if you have any other questions, by all means, like reach out. We appreciate you guys so much, and we want to make sure that you feel so confident every day stepping in the salon. And this is a way for us to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
Then
thank you so much.
one more
Thank you.
slide, Brooke.
Oh,
Or just
there we
two.
go.
There you go.
Yeah, so again, our next event will be another Oh My Blonde Masterclass, Monday, March 25th. And if you want to play this back, it should be available a little after 24 hours at www.masterbleach.com. So this website now will have a ton of new resources. It will have this presentation, a copy of all of the PowerPoints we went over today, and a copy of the techniques available for you guys.
So it's www.mass. Oh, there it is. Sorry. I was listening.
Absolutely. Yep. www.masterbleach.com.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other questions or anything they want to ask?
Well, I guess, yeah, I'm gonna ask it. With the sunlight oil, like I have, back to the blonde girl that I have, she is like Barbie blonde, but sometimes her ends get yellowish because I don't run a lot of color through it. And I know sometimes it has to do with overuse, even though I tell her not to overuse purple shampoo.
They always do.
And I know I hate sending that home with them, and they do it. And she even says that purple veil thing. She goes, "It's not enough." I'm like, "No, your hair is like almost gray at the ends. It's enough."
Yeah.
Would you, like, toward the end of the processing, kind of use that sun oil just to kind of like run through those ends real quick for the last like 5 minutes? And
Yeah,
that
you
wouldn't damage?
even 10 minutes, it would be safe if you just use 10 to volume for 10 to 15 minutes. You could do it on dry or damp hair. I'd probably go for dry just to get a little bit more punch in there. Apply it. You can apply it pretty speedily because of the texture of it and how it is so liquidy. And then just kind of mush it into the ends a bit, feather it up slightly to ensure just like a good blend there. And that will break down a lot of that pigment and kind of like get you a good clean palette again, which is also going to help you have a better result when you tone at the bowl.
Okay, because that's why I bought it in the first place, but it's one of those you don't put bleach over bleach type thing, and she's already kind of on the sensitive side on the ends, and I'm very, to me, fragile. But
If
I'm like,
if you're very, I mean, use your best judgment in this, you know, but if you're super concerned about it, maybe don't go for it. And put her on what I like to call, I said I'm putting you on probation as a client. You have to put this purple shampoo down or I'm canceling your next appointment. That doesn't
okay.
But also, I mean, if you think it depends, you can feel the hair and feel what it can take. Because you have the e-plex bond repair, it does make it a much safer product. It is really, really gentle and hydrating.
Okay.
I think you could go.
I wouldn't put Iconic Blonde or the other stuff. And that's why I actually put it there.
Yeah, going in with sunlight oil would be a great option for cleansing those ends out, getting you a fresh, clean canvas again, and then retoning her. Yep.
Okay, and then what about like someone who just wants to, I guess, like rub off like a little bit of their color? Like I have so I'm in Houston and we have a lot of people moving into our area where I live. So I'm getting a lot of people from a lot of parts of the country recently, and it's been crazy. But I have been asking, like, well, do you know what the color line is? Like, can you give me any information about what has been going on in your hair? You know, da 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 da. Well, I had a few that I just did a few highlights to the top because I didn't really want to work. Well, let me put it this way. They didn't want to pay the price that it would have taken to get this done the way I would have done it on a normal basis. But if I did like almost kind of like the shampoo cap, I just don't do those. Could I run that oil through there for a few minutes? just to lighten up that first layer so that I can, because some of it's kind of dark. It's going to go orange regardless of what I do.
Right. I was gonna say, so either way, you're dealing with a color correction, and I think that that's something that your clients have to take into account when they are budgeting cost of their appointments. You know, it's something that it's like, hey, this is a process that we have to do to get you to the result that realistically you're looking for. You could use that. You could even throw it in a few foils on the top, maybe like the top of the parting section if you're trying to make it a little easier. Throw it through that and it will just give you, but again, it's only going to give you 2 to 3 levels. You're still going to need to tone it. And also, if you use, even though it says 2 to 3 levels, because you have that cosmetic hair color on it, it's really 1 to 2 levels. So that's something to think about too. Right.
Just enough to brighten it up, to put, like I said, a toner over it so that they can go lighter. Like, well, like I said, most of my clients are Hispanic base, are, you know, they're all over, but like they're coming from different places where they were dark a lot and now they're moving here wanting to go lighter, or because their husband's job is transferring them all over the place, they would prefer not to keep up with the color. So
right, you could go in with you could definitely go in with that. Or I also like to, I'm a big fan of just doing some baby lights, doing a partial baby light, really nice and gentle with silky blonde, because it is going to give you more impact and break that up and then toning them down accordingly.
Okay, I haven't been using the silky blonde, but I have been using the cream and doing baby lights through the top. So that's kind of what I've been doing already. And like I said, I just didn't know, no one's ever really focused on the oil sunlight and oil blonde. Sorry, I'm multitasking.
Right.
So that's like, I never really, like, it's been sitting right in front of all my bleach stuff, like I see it. I just haven't really touched base with it because I didn't have the time to actually sit down and really understand it. And I don't use anything unless I understand like the whole process of it, like what we covered today. Because if I don't understand it, something goes wrong, and so oops, and I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would again just go on with your best judgment, but I think that you could use a sunlight oil, or you could do it with the silky blonde as well. Yep.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, anybody else?
I'm going to agree with her because there are so many people that come into the salon. Nobody wants to pay what they're supposed to pay. And, you know, they want you, like, even if it's just a level lighter, but that's just so much work, so you wind up, giving them like, doing it for free, actually, but if there was like an easier way just to lift just one level to make them, really dark hair, brown hair or something. I don't.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that it is something that now has to be addressed more in the consultation with clients for sure. A lot of people are coming in with like the things that they think may be a small change, but due to the circumstances of their hair that's already has happened, it's more than a small change and it's now a color correction. So it is quite important to start having more honest and transparent conversations with our clients during consultations about setting expectations on cost and timing and what is realistic and what may or may not be the best option for them. But I think that it's kind of up to your best judgment too on what tool you can go in with. I think if you're going for something gentle, sunlight oil is great. Definitely grab it a lot more, especially if you're just trying to even cleanse out a toner. I mean, reach for things that you may not typically go for. Start reaching for them more, and hopefully this was enough information to help you feel a little bit more confident in all of that.
Yeah, because I think I have probably 2 of those sunlight oils sitting there and I don't know how to use it. Okay.
Right. Well, now you do, so that's a great thing. And if you have any questions, you can always call or message any of us. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. Great class.
Thank you so much for attending. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yes, very much. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, anytime. And I'm excited for the next class as well on March 25th to go into the second technique and dive a little bit deeper so you can see it in person as well.
I've only missed one class because my daughter, and I have all the classes in my calendar so that way I don't plan anything. So if I miss it, it's unplanned.
Right. No, we totally understand. And Thank you so much for giving us your time today as well.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for 2 good classes in a row, Brooke.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good doing it back to back. I felt good. I feel like I've covered the whole line in 48 hours.
Great.
All right. Anyone else?
How long do we have to order the special that you were showing? Is there does it have to be done today, or do we have till the 1st, like the special we were shown yesterday?
John. That's a question.
This is available for 24 hours.
Okay. So it's
So
a flash
You
sale.
have, yeah, so it's
Okay,
a,
so I just call Amber, who's my distributor, and tell her which one I want.
exactly.
All right, thank you.
She has all that information. She's ready to go.
Okay, I have a question. What class did you teach yesterday?
So yesterday in Palm Coast, actually, we had a hands-on class that we sold tickets to. We had about 20 people show up, and it was great. We went over, it was an it&ly master class that we did hands-on, and we went through everything from product knowledge top to bottom, color theory, formulation, and we also did I demonstrated 2 full techniques, and then we did hands-on 2 full techniques as well. So everyone got to get their hands a little messy, pick some of the new colors with the new it&ly that's been released in new shades, and get familiar and just like put some more tools in your belt. It was a blast. I think I had a ton of fun. It was so exciting. So it was nice, and it was nice seeing everybody too.
Fabulous. No, I remember reading about it now that you've mentioned it, but oh, good for you guys. For those who are there, I'm so envious.
Well, hey, all you have to do is call your distributors and ask them if they can set something up.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
I will do
I have a
that.
question.
Yes.
I used to use the Pravana color extractor, but it's like been discontinued.
Was it a color remover?
Yes.
Okay.
Is the oil lightener, can I use that in that way, the way I used to use that?
So I'm not super familiar with that, but I do know as a color remover, depending on what type of pigment you're dealing with, I have found that the sunlight oil is really helpful for, I've actually used it with 10 volume to remove vivids as well. Yeah, and because I have a lot of clients that come back every 6 weeks and want a new rainbow palette in their hair. So I found that it works really great for doing that. Just have to be mindful of the fact that you have to know what base you're working off of. It could lift a little bit and you need to tone accordingly because again, it is a lightener and not a color remover, but absolutely it would be a great tool to try out, do a couple swatches, see how you like and feel it. Yeah.
Okay. Does it&ly have anything like a color remover? Or maybe coming down the pike?
Currently, right now, we don't have something that is specifically a color remover. We just have our wide range of lighteners. I'm not sure if we have something coming out soon or not yet, but I'll look into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Brooke, Lisa has a question.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, Lisa.
Curious because I know that where I used to order from was in Jacksonville and they closed it and the family no longer is doing that. So where is all of this coming from now? And are your classes always, if they're going to be in person in Florida, are they always in Palm Coast? Because it's a couple hours from me.
Right. So I'm actually in Jacksonville as well. So yeah, so I understand the situation for sure. So they're kind of all over. It just worked out that we happened to have a salon that was willing to host in their space, and they were current users, and we got enough interest that we were able to do ticketed sales and make this an event. But this is something that we could absolutely do in other places. So if you have a large salon and you have a large staff too that is friendly, I mean, already users and hands-on with this, but you're wanting to ask for more techniques, that's something we could definitely look into for you. Following all of our social medias is a really good way to stay up to date on new classes. ITELYhairfashion.NorthAmerica on Instagram, or the Facebook as well. We try to do some email blasts as much as we can, but the classes will kind of be all over. But although if you want us to come to you and there's enough interest, maybe we could work something out for sure.
And I went ahead and put a link into the group chat. So if you go ahead and follow that, you'll get all the updates about education that's coming. And we also have, excuse me, we also keep the website up to date, which would be italyhairfashion.us. So all of our education events will be available there too. But I mean, if you follow on Instagram, you'll see everything.
I'd have to probably, it's very rare for my age group, but I have discontinued all social media. So I'll
Okay.
for the website, yeah.
Well, yeah, the website, like I said, I'm gonna put it into the chat right now.
And emails as well. We do try to send out quite a bit of emails about things too. If are you ordering directly through? Are you ordering through Amber now, or?
Yeah, because I went off on my own for the last, I don't know how many years now, but I was in a big salon in Miami, and you know, it just changes, and definitely after COVID, so I'm sick of social media. So somehow I've still been able to maintain and continue and growing, but I do everything now on my own. So I just had to change how I get the information.
Gotcha. Yep. I would stay up to date on emails, and Amber does a really good job too of keeping everyone as informed as she can. And our website would be a good way.
Thank you.
Lisa, thank you. Thank you. Those are good questions. Okay, anybody else? All right, Brooke, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead, and if you have questions, our 1-800 number, 1-800-621-4859. If you want to place an order, go ahead and get a hold of your distributor. And you can find this live tomorrow around 2:30 at masterbleach.com. And I think that's all we have.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody, for attending. We'll see you next time.
Bye.